Jai Swaminarayan. Before writing Shikshapatri for his followers, Sri Sahajanand Swami meditates upon Lord Shri Krishna. I meditate in my heart upon Lord Shri Krishna, on whose left stands Radhika ji, in whose heart resides Lakshmi ji, and who plays in Vrindavan. I, Sahajanand Swami, write this Shikshapatri, Gospel of Life Divine, from Vartal to all my disciples who reside in different parts of the world. Ram Pratap ji and Ichharam ji, both born of Sri Dharmadev, are my brothers. Ram Pratap ji's son Ayodhya Prasad and Ichharam ji's son Raghuvir, both of whom I have adopted as my sons and established them as acharyas of my disciples. The Naistik Brahmacharis, headed by Mukundanand, and the devoted householders such as Mayaram Bhatt and others, and my devotees such as married, unmarried women and widows, and all sadhus, Muktanand and others, all who have become my disciples. May they all read and accept my ennobling blessings prescribed by the happy remembrance of Sriman Narayan. My disciples shall all concentrate on the benevolent aim of writing this Shikshapatri and believe that it is written for the spiritual welfare of every soul. Those who observe the rules of ethics as prescribed by the holy scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavad Puran, etc., shall derive happiness in this world as well as in the next. Those who violate the rules of ethics and behave willfully are evil-minded and shall suffer great distress in this world as well as in the next. Hence, all my disciples shall love and follow the commandments of this Shikshapatri vigilantly and shall never violate them. My disciples shall never intentionally kill any living creature, not even small insects such as lice or bugs. They shall never kill goats or other living beings in sacrifice performed for the yagna of deities and pitrus, for non-violence is declared by all shastras as the highest dharma of all dharmas. One shall never commit homicide even in order to acquire women, wealth, political power or sovereignty. One shall never commit suicide even in a place of pilgrimage or through anger or an account of some untoward action, by taking poison or by strangulation or by jumping into a well or from a hilltop or by any other means. One shall never eat meat even in a moment of extreme necessity, be it remains of a sacrifice, nor drink liquor, wine or intoxicating beverages even though it may be an offering to a deity. Even in a state of excitement, one shall never mutilate any part of one's body or that of others with a weapon or by any other means in order to punish oneself or others for any unworthy deed either by oneself or by others. One shall not commit theft even for the sake of performing an act of dharma. No article, even firewood, flowers, etc., owned by the others shall ever be taken without their permission. My male and female disciples shall never commit adultery nor indulge in gambling and similar vices. They shall abstain from inhaling and consuming intoxicating substances such as bhang, tobacco, snuff, and the likes. One shall never consume food or drink prepared by a person from whom one is prohibited to take such things by the holy scriptures at any place, even if it is the prasad from the offerings to Lord Sri Krishna, except the prasad at Jagannath Puri. One shall never make false accusations or abuse anyone, even if it serves one's self-interest. One shall never slander deities, places of pilgrimage, Brahmins, devout wives, sadhus, and the holy scriptures, nor listen to such slanders. One shall never accept the remnant part of an offering made to any deity to whom wine and flesh are offered and before whom goats and such other animals are sacrificed. When passing by temples of Lord Shiva and other deities, one shall bow to them and pay due reverence to the deities therein. One shall never abandon one's own duties as ordained by one's own varnashram, nor follow a course of conduct prescribed for the others, nor follow any faith which is pretentious or fictitious. One shall never listen to any religious discourses from a person whose preaching might lead one away from devotion to Lord Shri Krishna or one's dharma. One shall never speak such truth which might bring about harm to oneself or to others, nor keep company of ungrateful people, nor take any bribe from anyone in social affairs. One shall never associate oneself with thieves, sinners, drug addicts, hypocrites, lustful, and such other deceitful persons. One shall never associate oneself with those persons who, under the pretext of preaching religion or devotion to God, seek wealth, women, or worldly pleasure and commit sins. One shall never hear or believe those scriptures in which the existence of Lord Sri Krishna and his incarnations have been skillfully and deceitfully denied or degraded. One shall never drink unfiltered water or milk, nor bath with water which contains many organisms. One shall never take medicine which contains alcohol or meat extracts, nor take medicine from an unknown physician. One shall never excrete, urinate, or spit in dilapidated temples, banks of rivers or ponds, main roads, fields sown with seeds, shade of trees, orchards, gardens, or similar places which have been prohibited for such use by religious scriptures or by public bodies. One shall never enter or exit through a secret way, and shall not occupy, even temporarily, any private property without the permission of its owner. My male disciples shall never listen to the religious discourses given by females, nor enter into arguments with females, rulers, and courtiers. One shall never insult a guru or a person who is either great, dignified, learned, or armed. One shall never perform duties pertaining to one's social affairs without careful consideration, whereas duties related to dharma shall be performed immediately. Those who are learned shall impart their knowledge to others and shall always associate with saintly persons. One shall never go empty-handed to a guru, a deity, or a king. One shall never commit a breach of trust and shall never praise oneself. My disciples shall never wear clothes which are likely to cause any indecent exposure of the body. One shall never practice devotion to Lord Sri Krishna without observance of dharma, and shall never give up devotion to Lord Sri Krishna for fear of criticism from ignorant persons. All those who come to the temples of Lord Sri Krishna either daily or on the days of religious festivals shall keep themselves away from touching the opposite sex, and after coming out from temples they shall behave as normal. Those of my Brahmin, Kshatriya, and Vaishya disciples who have been initiated into the devotion of Lord Sri Krishna by their Acharya shall always wear around their neck a kanthi prepared from tulsi wood, and shall also make a tilak on their forehead, chest, and both upper arms. The tilak shall be made with either gopi chandan stick or with consecrated sandal paste mixed with the kumkum duly offered to Lord Sri Krishna. In the center of the tilak, one shall make a chanlo of gopi chandan or kumkum which has been offered to Radhikaji or Lakshmiji. My Satsudra disciples who are devotees of Lord Sri Krishna and observing their dharma shall wear a kanthi of tulsi and shall make tilak marks similar to those of Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas. My disciples who belong to Satsudra shall wear a sanctified double rosary of sandalwood around their neck and shall place only a round mark on the forehead but not a tilak. Brahmins and others who have for generations marked their forehead with tripundra and worn a necklace of Rudraksh beads on account of their family traditions and customs shall continue to do so even after becoming my disciples. No distinction shall be made between Narayan and Shiv, as they both have been proclaimed as Brahmrup by the Vedas. My disciples shall never practice the relaxation of rules permitted by scriptures for extreme calamities in the event of temporary adverse conditions. All my disciples shall get up daily before sunrise, offer prayers to Lord Sri Krishna, and then go to answer the call of nature. Thereafter, sitting in one place, they shall brush their teeth, bath with clean water, and then wear washed clothes, one around the waist and one around the upper part of the body. Then they shall sit in a clean place on a clean and suitable cloth, untouched by others. Facing east or north, they shall perform achman. All males shall mark their forehead with a tilak having a chanlo in the center of it. All married women shall make only a chanlo of kumkum on their forehead. Widows shall not mark their forehead with either a tilak or chanlo. All my disciples shall then meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna and mentally offer him sandalwood, flowers, etc. Then they shall with due respect have darshan and bow down before the images of Sri Radha Krishna and recite the 8-syllabled holy mantra of Sri Krishna according to their capacity and then attend to their daily routines. Even those of my devotees who are Atmanivedis like King Ambrish shall also perform the sequence of rituals as described above up to and including meditation upon Lord Shri Krishna. My Atmanivedi devotees shall worship Shaligram or the idol of Lord Shri Krishna made from stone or metal with offerings of sandalwood, flowers, fruit, etc. which are available at the time according to their capacity. They shall then recite the 8-syllabled holy mantra of Lord Shri Krishna. They shall then read hymns or the religious scriptures about Lord Shri Krishna according to their ability, and those who do not know Sanskrit shall sing songs in the praise of Lord Shri Krishna and chant his name. They shall offer food to Lord Shri Krishna and then shall eat this sanctified food as his prasad. They shall thus always remain in service of Lord Shri Krishna with dedication and supreme love. These Atmanivedi devotees are considered as Nirgun because all their deeds are purified by their continuous and devotional contact with Lord Shri Krishna, who is forever Nirgun. These Atmanivedi devotees shall never drink water or eat leaves, roots, fruits, etc. without first offering them to Lord Shri Krishna. My disciples who have become disabled by old age or by some adversity shall give their idols of Lord Shri Krishna which they have worshipped to some other disciples. The disabled disciples shall thereafter serve God to the best of their ability. They shall worship only those idols of Lord Shri Krishna which have been given to them by the Acharya of Dharmadev descent or installed by him. Other idols shall be respectfully bowed to, but not worshipped. All my disciples shall go to the temple every day in the evening, and there they shall sing loudly bhajans in the praise of Lord Shri Krishna. They shall read and listen to, with deep reverence, the narrations from the life of Lord Shri Krishna and celebrate all festivals with his songs in accompaniment of musical instruments. All my disciples shall always behave as mentioned above, and shall also study the religious scriptures in Sanskrit and vernacular to the best of their abilities. A person should be assigned work only after careful consideration of his suitability, but not otherwise. My disciples shall always take care of their servants with regard to food and clothes to the best of their abilities. A person should be addressed according to his status, taking into consideration the time and place, but not otherwise. My courteous disciples shall, on the arrival of a guru, a ruler, a very old person, a person who has renounced the material world, a scholar, and an ascetic, accord a warm welcome by rising up from their seat, bowing down, offering a seat, and saying pleasant words. One shall not sit with one leg over the other, or with knees bound with a cloth strap in the presence of a guru, a deity, or a king, or in congregation. My disciple shall never enter into arguments with their acharya, but honor and serve him by offering food, money, clothing, etc. according to their abilities. On hearing the news of the arrival of Acharya, my disciples shall go forthwith to the outskirts of the village or town to welcome him with honor and respect, and on his departure shall accompany him up to the outskirts of the village or town to bid him farewell. One shall never undertake any activity which is devoid of dharma, irrespective of its benefit, as dharma alone can fulfill all human aspirations. Therefore, one shall not give up dharma in the hope of some benefits. One shall never adopt any of the unethical deeds of the great people of the past, but shall follow their ethical deeds only. One shall never disclose the secrets of others to anyone else and shall give due respect to deserving persons, but under no circumstances shall the bounds of courtesy be violated for observing a false decorum of equality. All my disciples shall perform additional religious duties during the 4 months of monsoon, and those who are incapable shall perform them at least during the month of Shravan. The following are the best methods of observance of the additional religious duties to be adopted and followed: listening to religious scriptures, reading religious scriptures, songs in praise of his divine qualities, performing Mahapuja of Lord's image by bathing him with Panchamrit, chanting his mantra, reciting his hymns, performing pradakshina, prostrating before God's images. I highly value these 8 practices, so all my disciples shall observe any one of them devotedly during the period of monsoon. They shall observe self-discipline on Ekadashi, Janmashtami, and birth anniversaries of other deities and celebrate them with great reverence and festivity. If one is fasting on the day of self-discipline, one shall make every effort to avoid sleeping during the day, as this nullifies the fast, just as sexual indulgence does. My disciples shall observe the days of Vrat and festivals and shall adopt the mode of worship of Lord Shri Krishna as prescribed and expounded by Sri Vithalnathji, the son of Vallabhacharya, a king among the Vaishnavas. All my disciples shall make a pilgrimage with due rites to the holy places like Dwarika and shall always be charitable and compassionate towards the poor, all according to their resources. My disciples shall reverently respect the 5 deities, namely Vishnu, Shiv, Ganpati, Parvati, and the sun. In the event of afflictions caused by any evil spirits, they shall chant the stotra of Narayan Kavach or Hanuman mantra, but shall never chant the stotra or mantras of any other deities. During an eclipse of the sun or the moon, all my disciples shall immediately suspend all work and after purifying themselves shall chant the mantra of Lord Shri Krishna. When the eclipse is over, they shall take a bath with clothes worn at that time. Householders shall give alms according to their means, and the ascetics shall worship God. My disciples of the 4 Varnas shall observe Sutak immediately after a birth or a death of a relative, according to the closeness of the relationship as prescribed by the scriptures. Brahmins shall have virtues such as tranquility, self-restraint, forgiveness, contentment, etc. And my Kshatriya devotees shall have bravery, patience, and similar virtues. The Vaishyas shall practice farming, trading, money lending, etc. And the Shudras shall serve the above-mentioned 3 Varnas. The Dvij shall perform the due rites following conception and perform daily rituals and Shraddha at the appropriate time according to the capacity of individuals. If my disciples have committed any sins, small or big, knowingly or unknowingly, they shall expiate their sins according to their capacities. I hold the following 8 scriptures as superior and true authority on our philosophy and religion: the 4 Vedas, Vyas Sutra, Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Shri Vishnu Sahasranam in Mahabharat, Shri Bhagwat Geeta, Vidur Niti by Shri Vidurji, Shri Vasudev Mahatmya from Vishnu Khand of Skand Puran, Smriti by Yajnavalkya Rishi, which are central to all religious scriptures. All my disciples who desire salvation shall listen to all these 8 scriptures, and my Brahmin devotees shall study, teach and preach them to others. Amongst the 8 scriptures mentioned above, My disciples shall consider the Mitakshara commentary of Yajnavalkya Smriti as the guiding authority to take decisions on matters of daily routines of rites and rituals, secular business affairs, and code of expiation. The fifth and the 10th skans of Srimad Bhagavad Puran shall be regarded as the best amongst these scriptures for clear understanding of the greatness and glory of Lord Shri Krishna. The 10th skan shall be esteemed as Bhakti Shastra, 5th skan as Yoga Shastra, and Yajnavalkya Smriti as Dharma Shastra. They shall acknowledge the Bhashya on Vyas Sutra and Sri Bhagwat Geeta by Sri Ramanujacharya as my spiritual philosophy. Those texts in these scriptures which tell the greatness of divinity of Lord Shri Krishna, religion, devotion, and renunciation shall be considered to be of greater value than others. The secret of these scriptures is that the devotion to Lord Shri Krishna is inseparable from dharma. Dharma is the right conduct as authenticated by Shruti and Smruti. Bhakti is profound love for God coupled with knowledge of the majesty and magnificence of Lord Shri Krishna. Vairag is non-attachment to everything except Lord Shri Krishna. Jnana is comprehensive understanding of Jiv, Maya and Iswar. Dwells in the heart and is as minute as an atom. It is concise and knowledgeable, and by the virtue of its subjectivity pervades the whole body. It is indivisible, impenetrable, indestructible, eternal, etc. Maya is Trigunatmika. It has three qualities, namely Sattva, Raja, and Tamas. It is the power of Lord Shri Krishna. It is full of darkness. It is attachment to the body and relations thereof, and it is the source of egoism. Iswar dwells in Jiv by his indwelling and controlling power, just as Jiv dwells in the heart. He is the supreme and sovereign and gives rewards to all according to their karmas. And that Iswar is Lord Shri Krishna, who is Parabrahma Purushottam and our most cherished deity. He is worthy of worship by us all. He is the source of all incarnations. When Lord Shri Krishna is by the side of Radhikaji, he shall be known as Radha Krishna. When he is by the side of Lakshmiji in the form of Rukmaniji, he shall be known as Lakshminarayan. When he is by the side of Arjun, he shall be known as Narnarayan. And in the same manner, when Balbhadra or other deities are by his side, he shall be known by such other appropriate names. At times, devotees such as Radhikaji and others are alongside Lord Shri Krishna, but at other times they, with extreme devotion, dwell within Lord Shri Krishna. Then Lord Shri Krishna shall be considered as by himself. Therefore, one shall not discriminate between the different manifestations of Lord Shri Krishna, as the four-armed or the thousand-armed manifestations of Lord Shri Krishna are the manifestations of the two-armed Lord Shri Krishna himself at his own free will. All persons shall worship Lord Shri Krishna with devotion, knowing that there is nothing more conducive to the realizations of salvation other than devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. The righteousness of the virtuous person, such as learned ones, is the only due to their devotion to Lord Shri Krishna and satsang, because without devotion and satsang, even a learned person is bound to degenerate. Lord Shri Krishna, his incarnations and his images alone are worthy of meditation. Therefore, they only shall be meditated upon, but one shall never meditate upon a person, a deity, or a jiva, even though he may be a profound devotee of Lord Shri Krishna or a Brahmaveda. One shall consider one's soul as distinct from three forms of body, Sthul, Shukshma, and Karan, and identify the soul with Brahma, and with that sublime form shall always worship Lord Shri Krishna. My disciples shall listen to with reverence the 10th skand of Srimad Bhagavat every day or once a year, and the Pandits shall read it daily or once yearly. They shall perform the Purashcharan of 10th skand of Srimad Bhagavat and Vishnu Sahasranam in a holy place, performed by self or through others, as per one's capability, as these performances help them to attain the desired objects. In the event of a calamity which has come naturally or through a person or an epidemic, etc., one shall always act in such a way that one can save one's own life and also that of others, but shall never act otherwise. The place, time, age, means, status, and ability shall be taken into consideration when deciding upon the matters of daily rites and rituals, secular business affairs, and the code of expiation. My philosophy rests in the theory of Visishtadvait. Golokdham is my beloved Adobe. I believe Mukti as being able to serve Lord Shri Krishna in the sublime state in Golokdham. The codes of conduct described so far are the ones applicable equally to all my male and female disciples and shall be followed accordingly. I shall now describe additional codes of conduct applicable to specific groups. Firstly, I will describe the codes of conduct for the acharyas and their wives. My elder brother's son Ayodhya Prasad and my younger brother's son Raghuvir and their successors shall never initiate or preach to females who are not closely related to them. They shall never touch or talk to females not closely related to them. They shall not be witnessed. They shall never give nor take anything directly to or from the hands of females not closely related to them. They shall never stay at a place where there is no male member in the house. They shall never give discourses to females. They shall never see any animals in the act of copulation. They shall observe the rules of conduct laid down for the householders. They shall never show their wealth to anyone and shall never decorate themselves with ornaments and fine clothes like kings. They shall never sell the food grains given by their disciples. However, grains which are spoiling may be exchanged for better ones. They shall install idols of Lord Shri Krishna in temples with all due rites and ceremonies and shall impart the mantra of Lord Shri Krishna to their male disciples. They shall study the holy scriptures with all humility and shall impart the knowledge of devotion to Lord Shri Krishna to all who have taken refuge in them. They shall worship Lord Shri Krishna daily with utmost devotion and shall perform all religious rites with dedication to him. The wives of acharyas shall give discourses to females and shall impart the mantra of Lord Shri Krishna to females. They shall never touch or talk to or show their uncovered body to males who are not closely related to them. My disciples, who are householders, shall never deposit money with persons not closely related to them, nor shall they stay alone with young female, even though she may be his mother, sister, or daughter, except in an emergency. They shall never keep close intimacy with a female who has a bad character, or who is prostitute, or who is in love with a male, nor shall they enter into arguments with them. They shall never sacrifice themselves for a female, nor give her any money for any unworthy purpose. They shall never indulge in a self-praise or in slandering others. They shall never act as surety for anyone in social affairs. They shall never form intimacy with a king or his officers, nor with thieves or sinners. They shall never drink water or eat food from the hands of persons from whom they are prohibited to do so by the scriptures. They shall never take intoxicating drinks or meat, even if it is a remnant of offerings to deities, nor shall they drink unfiltered water. They shall never sing vulgar songs or use vulgar language nor behave vulgarly. They shall never pass urine or excrete feces in a place of green crops or a reservoir of water or main roads or in front of a temple or image of deity. They shall never sit with one leg over the other or with knees bound with a cloth strap in presence of a deity or in congregation or in the presence of elders. They shall never be witnessed. They shall spend money according to their income, Those who spend more than their income put themselves into severe difficulties. They shall keep daily records of their income and expenditure relating to their social affairs in their own legible handwriting. They shall donate 1/10 of their earnings, money or food grains to Lord Shri Krishna. Those with small income shall offer 1/20th. The concluding ceremonies of Vrat such as Ekadasi and others shall be performed and celebrated as prescribed in religious scriptures and according to their means. The concluding ceremonies so performed fulfill one's aspirations. In the month of Shravan, they shall worship with reverence Mahadev with bilva leaves, etc., or ask others to worship Mahadev on their behalf. They shall never borrow money from their acharyas or from the temples of Lord Shri Krishna, nor shall they borrow for their social use utensils, ornaments, clothes, and such other articles owned by the acharyas or the temple of Lord Shri Krishna. When going to the temples of Lord Shri Krishna or visiting the gurus or sons for darshan, they shall never eat anything given free of charge by others, either in the temple or en route, because the free food given by another person takes away one's punya. They shall eat food bought with their own money. They shall pay the agreed remuneration in cash or kind to persons employed by them and under no circumstances pay them less than the agreed rates. They shall not keep in secret the matters related to repayments of their debts, their ancestry, and kanyadan. They shall have no dealings with wicked persons. In the event of a natural disaster or harassment by a ruler or wicked persons, where one cannot uphold one's honor or protect one's life and possessions, my wise householder disciples shall quit that place at once, even if it is their native place or inherited estate, and reside elsewhere where they can live happily and without harassment. My wealthy Satsangis shall perform non-violent yagnas for propitiating Vishnu. They shall feed Brahmins and ascetics in places of pilgrimage and also on auspicious days. My wealthy Satsangis shall organize celebrations of great religious festivals in temples and shall give various kinds of alms to deserving Brahmins. My disciples, who are the rulers, shall treat their subjects as their own children in accordance with Dharmasastras and shall establish a rule of Dharma on earth. They shall fully know the 7 constituents to administer the state successfully, the 4 expedients to have a successful conquest, 6 diplomatic qualities, and significant places to send the spies to. Not only shall they know the characteristics of persons well versed in worldly matters or social affairs, but also the qualities of persons who deserve to be punished and those who do not deserve to be punished. Married women shall serve and worship their husbands in the manner in which they serve and worship God, even if they are either blind, ailing, poor, or impotent, and shall never utter harsh words to them. They shall never keep any contact with any young man other than their husband, even though the other young man may be handsome or virtuous. Devout wives shall never behave in a manner which could expose their navel, thighs, or breasts and attract the attention of other males. They shall cover themselves with an upper garment. They shall never go out to see vulgar shows, nor associate themselves with debauched women or courtesans. When their husbands are away from home, married women shall never wear beautiful clothes or ornaments, nor visit other people's homes, nor indulge in merriment. The widow disciples shall worship Lord Shri Krishna with the same fidelity as they would have worshipped their husbands. They shall always live under the command of their father, sons, or such other relatives, but never act independently. They shall never touch any male who is not closely related to them. Young widows shall never converse with young men unless it is absolutely necessary. Casually touching a suckling child is not an offense, just as there is no offense in touching an animal. Similarly, There is no offense in touching or talking to an old man when it becomes necessary. They shall not receive education from a male person who is not closely related. They shall constantly control their body and senses by observing vrats and fasts. Those who have sufficient wealth for their lifetime maintenance shall not offer it even for religious purposes. They may do so if they have surplus to their requirement. They shall take a meal only once a day and sleep on the floor. They shall never deliberately look at any creatures in the act of coition. They shall never dress themselves like a married woman, nun, or a female recluse, nor dress in a manner which is contrary to the custom of the place and their family traditions. They shall never associate with, nor even touch, women who practice abortion, nor shall they indulge in or listen to amorous talks regarding males. Except in an emergency, young widows shall never stay in a secluded place with a young man, even though they may be closely related. They shall never play holy, nor put on ornaments, nor dress themselves with transparent clothes interwoven with gold or similar metals. No woman shall bath without having clothes on, and shall never conceal her periodical menses. No woman shall touch anybody or any clothes, etc., for 3 days during the period of menses, but can do so on the 4th day after taking a bath. The special duties for male and female householders should also be followed by the acharyas and their wives, as they too are householders. My Naistic Brahmachari disciples shall never touch, nor talk to, nor deliberately look at any female. They shall never talk of females, nor listen to talks about females, and shall not go for bathing, washing, etc., to places which are frequented by females. They shall neither touch nor purposely look at the images, pictures, or idols made from wood, etc., of females except those of goddesses. They shall never draw pictures of females, nor touch clothes worn by females. They shall never intentionally look at any creatures in the act of coition. They shall never look at nor talk to a man who is disguised as a female. They shall not give religious discourses and sing devotional songs directed at females. They shall not obey a command which violates their vows of celibacy, even if that command is given by their guru. They shall always be patient, contented, and without pride. They shall immediately stop a female who deliberately advances towards them by talking to her or by showing contempt towards her. In case of an emergency, when the lives of females or their own lives are in imminent danger, they shall protect the females and themselves by talking to females or even by touching them. They shall never massage their body with oil, nor arm themselves, nor put on frightful clothes. They shall suppress their sense of taste. They shall never go for alms to those Brahmin homes where food is served by a female, but shall go elsewhere where food is served by a male. They shall study the Vedas and other holy scriptures and serve their Guru. They shall never associate themselves with effeminate males, just as they would never associate themselves with females. My Brahmin disciples shall never drink water which has passed through a leather vessel. They shall never consume foods like onion, garlic, etc. Brahmins shall never take meals without performing daily rituals, that is, bath, sandhya, chanting of Gayatri Mantra, worship of Sri Vishnu and Vaishvadev. Just as Naistic Brahmacharis, sadhus shall avoid association with females and effeminate males, visually and verbally. They shall conquer inner enemies like lust, anger, greed, pride, etc. They shall control all senses, especially the sense of taste, and shall not accumulate wealth or ask others to do so on their behalf. They shall never accept deposits from others, never lose patience, and shall never allow a female to enter their place of residence. Except in an emergency, they shall never go out alone during the night time, nor shall they go out without company of fellow sadhus at any time. They shall never wear shawls or such other garments which are expensive, decorative, dyed with gaudy colors, even if they have been reverently given to them by others. They shall never go to householders' place except for religious gatherings or receiving alms. They shall always utilize their time in devotion to God instead of wasting it idly. They shall go for meals to a householder's place where food is served only by males, where they have no contact with or sight of females. If this facility is not available, they shall ask for cereals, etc., personally cook the food and offer it to Lord Shri Krishna before consuming it. They shall behave like Bharatji, who in the ancient times used to act as insensate Brahmin. Monastic brahmachari and sadhu disciples shall strictly abstain from taking betel leaves, opium, tobacco, and other similar intoxicating substances. They shall never dine at ceremonies pertaining to conception or any ceremony related to Ghost Shraddh and 12th day ceremony related to Shraddh or any other similar ceremonies. They shall never sleep during the daytime except when they are unwell. They shall never intentionally indulge themselves in any gossip. They shall never sleep on a bed except when they are unwell. They shall always behave sincerely with other saints. They shall not retaliate if misguided or wicked persons abuse them or beat them, but shall instead be tolerant and always wish them well. They shall never act as a messenger, indulge in backbiting or spying. They shall avoid egoism and shall not have attachment towards their relatives. I have thus described briefly the general and special dharmas of all my disciples. They shall refer to Shastras of our Sampradaya to learn them in detail. I have written this Shikshapatri, taking the essence of all Shastras. It fulfills the wishes of all my disciples. Therefore, all my disciples shall always observe the precepts of this Shikshapatri but never behave as they desire. By following this Shikshapatri, my male and female disciples shall attain the four desires: Dharma, Earth, Kam, and Moksh. My male and female disciples shall understand that those who do not follow the precepts of this Shikshapatri shall be considered as excommunicated from our Sampradaya. My disciples shall read this Shikshapatri daily, and those who cannot read shall listen to it with reverence. When there is no one to read this Shikshapatri to them, they shall worship it daily. All my disciples shall reverently honor my word as my divine self. This Shikshapatri shall only be given to a person with divine virtues, but shall never be given to a person with wicked tendencies. This Shikshapatri is written by me on Vasant Panchami day of the year Vikram Samvat 1882 and is beneficent to all mankind. May Lord Shri Krishna, reliever of all miseries of his disciples, protect of bhakti with dharma, and bestower of all desired happiness, shower his blessings on us all.